Ibra di testa, Tonali, gol! Sandro! Meritato! Sandro! Gol! Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host Ollie Fisher, joined once again by Anthony Torgrud, who is back home after his trip to be with that guy down there.
Yeah, I was with Madison this morning, woke up in his spare room. He was in the basement, actually. We kicked him downstairs, so I say we, that's so sus.
Yeah, very sus. Yeah, good to have an open relationship in 2022.
Yeah, I guess so. Damn.
Yeah, got off the plane recently and just got home and said, let's get on the podcast because why
Rise
not?
and grind, man.
Rise and grind, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite some weekend. AJ flew to Detroit, and we were quarantined in the house because my wife tested positive for COVID 18 hours after he got here. So
was it even 18, dude? I think it was like right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're here. We're having fun. Good times.
Yeah, well, good. So that, I mean, I think you two are still the only... Oh, no, I suppose there's like... I mean, it doesn't really count, does it?
I'm testing negative still.
Yeah. And I had it a while ago, but I just tested negative too, but we'll see tomorrow.
I've never tested positive.
Nice.
I do think I had it, but yeah, that was a long time.
If I had to bet my retirement on it, I'd bet on that I have it, but I'm just testing negative.
Yeah, well, get well soon. If you start feeling any symptoms, Maddie, that's all I'll say. And yeah, good to see some SempreMilan staff meetups going on in person. I mean, I don't think anything transatlantic's happened just yet.
No.
But in time it should do. So boys, we got a game to talk about, a couple of games to preview. Just the way it is, in it, up until the World Cup, we got like a game every 3 days up until then. But plenty to go on from that one game against Sampdoria, and then we got Dinamo Zagreb and Napoli coming up on Wednesday night and Sunday night. That's European time. It's obviously earlier for you boys. But yeah, should be a good one anyway, because the Sampdoria game, the one that we're going to obviously start with by recapping, was an absolute shit show, really. It was funny, I think, afterwards. After we got the 3 points, you can reflect on it and say, well, you know, my blood pressure's not doing too great after that. But there was certainly plenty of incidents to go at. And it was another shining example of how well the officials are using VAR and how great they are at making decisions in Italy.
Yeah, we weren't even the worst example of that this weekend.
No, we weren't.
No, we were not. We were not. So yeah, we got the win in the end, but that doesn't tell the whole story. But it was 2-1 to Milan at the Stadio Luigi Ferrari against Marco Giampaolo's Sampdoria. It was always good to see him having a little bit of a meltdown as well at the end of the game and getting a red card. But Junior Macias gave us the lead inside the 6th minute, it was, with a far post finish. I think probably the keeper, Aldero, should have done a little bit better with that one. It would be fair to say it kind of went through him. And then we went down to 10 men. Rafael Leao got 2 yellow cards. They equalised through Filip Juricic, and we got the win. Olivier Giroud earned a penalty and then converted it. That's the key points recapped, I suppose. How do we feel about the game, boys? I mean, it was mental.
Yeah, I mean, the way you said it just sounded, you know, business as usual, but it was anything but, you know, that first goal, great, because Leao then passed it to CDK, or someone passed it to CDK, who passed it to Leao, who passed it to Macias. So I think it was
Leao's
Giroud.
pass, or CDK's pass to, Macias scored.
It was
Giroud to CDK to Leao to Macias.
It was just a heavy touch. I don't think he was
I think so too. But it was nice seeing all 4 of the front 4 guys combined for a team goal, technically. So that was sweet. And then a few minutes later, you know, CDK scores his first goal. And then it was taken away, and I'm still a little confused on that because it was called off. So it looked like they were reviewing if CDK was offside at first, and then it was obvious that he wasn't. And then they were like, the ticker on the bottom went from offside to handball. And then a few minutes after that, it went from handball to offside again. And 1 second here, because I need that banner.
There it is.
See thing there. Yeah, then it was offside again, but this time it was for Giroud about 4 passes earlier, and it was he didn't even touch the ball. They were just saying he obstructed it, even though he didn't try to play the ball. He was rooted to the ground, and the Sampdoria defender was actually holding him down by a shirt, who then jumped and hit the header to Leao to start the play, or whomever. I don't remember. But yeah, so it was a bit dubious, but it is what it is. And then obviously the Leao red card, or second yellow. That one's iffy. I get it that why you would give that a yellow. But it was the first one. The first yellow he got shouldn't have been a yellow. That was very clearly like he just made a little bit of space. It wasn't a shove. It wasn't like a punch. It wasn't an elbow. It was literally just like a post up. And after Leao breaks away, you see the guy standing there go, woo, and then jump down. Like, it was so clear.
Almost a like slight delayed reaction to it, as
Yeah.
if to say, I know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, he was
it was like
operating on
Lautaro had done
Internet
before.
Explorer. Yeah,
in
exactly.
the derby. I didn't like that.
That was
Purely said
frustrating.
after the game as well. He said it does feel like as a forward now, if you make contact with the defender in any way, then it's going to be whistled and you're going to get a yellow card, which doesn't seem to be proportional when it's the other way around.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also on that, because Leao missed the bicycle kick going for it, the ball then
Pobega
deflected
scored.
to Pobega, who scored a screamer with that.
Who
Obviously,
also
it didn't
had
count.
a decent game.
He did, and I said that live as well. Madison will hold me accountable.
I also pointed out every time Calabria did something well, just so AJ knew that he
all
wasn't
4
shit.
times.
Yeah.
So what happened after that? I don't recall.
They scored. Did they get a penalty?
No, it was. I mean, there was some debate about whether that was offside as well. I mean, we never really saw an angle that was conclusive for their equalising goal.
That's right.
It was a cross from the left flank. And I think what they ended up ruling was that he was behind the ball, or at least level with the ball when it was crossed. And obviously, you can't be offside if the ball doesn't travel forwards.
Right.
But it certainly looked dodgy from that angle, which is the broadcast angle, which doesn't really give you the true perception of where he is. But he looked in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
But
It's frustrating because you couldn't tell at all.
No.
And it seems as if they just gave him the benefit of the doubt when just the week prior in Champions League, we're seeing, the semi-automatic review, which obviously is not in Serie A, but you see it's half a toe's length offside, and they're like, no goal, no goal. Like, so if we're going to be that strict about it, we can't be giving people the benefit of the doubt in situations where you genuinely can't see it. In fact, the thing is clear or obvious, and it's not clear or obvious. So I don't know.
No. Also, when you,
which could be why it stood, because I don't think they raised it for offside. I think they just reviewed to check if it was.
I mean, they should check anyway, I suppose. But it just seems to me to be double standards when you've gone through so many phases of play to disallow the CDK goal. You've just looked for anything that's happened in the build-up where you can say, well, I think Giroud could have been interfering with play, when in actual fact he just stood there and it was the Sampdoria player who was all over him. It just didn't really stack up to me that. But if he was genuinely level or behind the ball, then it's not offside, and fair enough. And I was also annoyed about how that goal came about. We've gone down to 10 men, and you think, right, they're going to come straight at us here to try and get an equaliser, then kick on and get the winner. So you just need to make sure that you basically play deep and play horribly for 15 minutes. Just get them to the hour mark, and then we can bring some subs on, keep things fresh. But just keep organised until that point. Don't allow a cross in 10 yards of space. Don't allow their number 10, who's 6'4" or something, to get in at the near post. The assignments were all over the place. There wasn't a lot of communication. They did switch the ball quickly and it drew us out. But yeah, there was quite a few players at fault for that equalising goal for me.
I do think we made good substitutions, though. I think we made the right ones
too. Yeah.
It was important that we did that because I think what was happening is that they were targeting our left flank, given that Leao had obviously been sent off. That made things difficult, and you had Kier then kind of being dragged out to cover, and that's when Calabria was tucking in a bit, and he got caught in between the men for the goal, so it looked like he was marking nobody. And then Pioli said, right, well, let's just play a 3-man defence then, and make sure that doesn't happen again.
It looked like they switched to a 3-4-2, obviously because the man down, it's not 3-4-3, but and I liked it. I thought we actually looked fairly decent, fairly cohesive.
We looked the better team.
Yeah.
With 10 men.
I don't know if I would use that as a starting formation going forward, but I do think it's an option, and
Well, I
it's
wouldn't
nice to
start
know
a
that we have it.
3-4-2.
Well, yes, but you know what I mean.
Struggling there.
3-4-3.
Yeah. 3-5-2.
But I did like seeing, and I do think, not this is not even a part of my Calabria agenda. It's just reality. I do think if we do a 3-4-3, we would want to see Dest or Kalulu as a. Well, it wouldn't be Kalulu because he'd have to play center back. So Dest, I guess, or Florenzi in a perfect world if he was healed as that
maybe
right
that's
wing
how
back.
you get the best out of Salamakers.
Yeah,
he has
potentially
played
it could
wing-back.
be. It might be. But I
Yeah.
liked it. I was happy with it. Astor Vronks got his debut. Couldn't tell you a thing he did.
He didn't look bad.
He did a nice turn, but it didn't lead to an awful lot. But I think he looked. I think he looked all right. He brought good energy.
Yeah,
and it's a tough situation to make your debut in. It's like,
it's
okay,
very hard.
Can you just make sure that we don't concede, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a tough one. But I found it interesting after the game. Both Pioli and Kier came out and said that a 3-man defense has been worked on in training. Pioli said he would have liked to worked on it more in summer, so it could be used straight away. But obviously, we had to wait a while to get Malik Chow, and Kier was not back to 100% as quickly as we thought he was going to be. But now we've got 5 centre backs fit. I think we might see it. I still don't think that we're in a position where we can say we'll see it from the start anytime soon. Even though there's rumours about doing it against Napoli, I don't think that's the game that you do it.
No, you might just because of the Leao suspension. You might
maybe
because that does give Teo a lot more freedom to get forward. And then, but you'd have to make some changes in who starts, and that's the scary part. Not so much the formation to me.
I mean, we don't have 2 fit strikers at the moment, so like,
I know.
what's your front two? Or is it a 3-4-2-1, and then you try overload down the middle? I mean, I guess we'll come on to Napoli. Yeah,
you could
come on to that.
Adley as a attacking mid, and then CDK Giroud up top if Origi's not back yet.
CDK has played second striker as well for Bruges and as a false 9, so maybe. But yeah, I guess on the Sam game, I mean, from an objective point of view, if you escape from the transaction being the 90 minutes game with 3 points, then it's been pretty good. But I guess there was some worrying aspects to it, aside from the goal that we conceded. I don't think you can have a go at Leao for the red card, even though that now leaves us in a bit of deep shit in terms of who we're going to field against Napoli. But I do think that there might have been a bit of naivety on his part going for an overhead kick, because he knows he either hits it and it might go in, or if he misses it, it's going to be dangerous play. And then,
I do think the position of the ball was pretty perfect for an overhead kick. So I don't blame a guy like Leao for doing that. I think he's got the talent and the ability to do it. And unfortunately, this was that 1 out of 10 time where he's not going to at least hit the ball. I also do think there's got to be some blame on the Sampdoria defender, because Leao was going for that ball first, and then he chose to go for a header. He put himself in the dangerous position, Now, obviously, you're a defender. You got to play that ball. You got to prevent any shot on target. So that's why you give him the benefit of the doubt and lean towards, in his favor. Obviously, he also took a boot to the face. So there's that. But it wasn't, I just don't think it was a one-sided incident. I think it's not even 50-50. It's probably like 20-80 in Leao's fault.
It's a dangerous play. So no matter
I agree.
what,
and that's why I think it is lit. You give Leao the card, 100%.
But it's just unfortunate he got one earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I really did shout. I shouted at Isaac in the chat after it happened and said, there's no way that you can say a forward going for an overhead kick is dangerous play. But having watched it back, and perhaps with the benefit of 3 points in the bag, I can say, maybe shouldn't have done that, and maybe won't do it again.
He can't know if the defender's face is going to be there.
No, that's the one thing. He did have the position.
Right. It's quite literally behind him. He can't see anyone. So
right.
Yeah. Also, the defender didn't get the ball either. So, like,
I thought he did. I bet he got the header off.
Yeah, because Leao kicked into his head.
No, because then it bounced straight back to Pobega, and it was coming this way. Someone hit it.
That makes sense. It definitely hit someone. But yeah, so we're without Leao now for that. But maybe that's a blessing in disguise, because he did need a rest, and now he can kind of put everything into that Dinamo Zagreb game, because he knows he's got a full 90 minutes off against Napoli. What else have we got? I talked about the disallowed goal. Not sure on that one. I
Penalty.
don't know. I mean,
really.
yeah, it's kind of a strange one, isn't it? Because the game was packed full of incidents, and yet between the incidents, there really wasn't a lot going on. You know, I think we tried to conserve energy. We tried to be as professional as we could and as efficient as we could when we went 1-0 up. There wasn't an awful lot going on. We did have a couple of half chances, but we did seem happy to just kind of let them come on to us and hit them on the counter. And then the red card changed the entire dynamic of the game. One thing I will say as well is that we'll criticise the VAR and say that they've got plenty wrong. But I also think that we should highlight when they get things right. And I was not shouting for a penalty when that corner didn't go in. And yet it just came up on TV that they were checking for something. And then you saw the replay and it's like, yeah, it did touch his hand.
I don't know if it did.
Yeah.
It
100%. Neither of us thought it was
like
a penalty when we were watching it.
Even with the replay.
It looked like an illusion where it just happened that his hand was going up. And because there was no camera angle on the other side or behind the net, you couldn't tell because the ball was in the way.
Yeah,
and so I was really surprised that they. And Drew hit it, and then it hit his shoulder, and the player, other player's hand looked like it was like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell. Like,
I
mean, you could tell right it moves towards the hand, and his hand is out here where it definitely should not be. But it looks almost like he recognizes that and pulls back because I couldn't tell if there was any deflection of the ball.
Yeah,
and it didn't look like his fingers wavered or anything.
And it was very, very slim, and you couldn't tell from the replay. So I was very surprised that they gave it.
Now I do think if that is like if it's very obvious that it's a hand. That has to be a red card because this is intentional. This is not an accidental handball, you know? That's intentionally obstructing play.
Yeah.
If your hand's like right here, whatever, and kind of hits it.
Unless they felt bad about sending Leao off.
Well, then definitely give them a red card and equalize that shit.
Even it up. The one thing I will say is that I'm not going to... There wasn't an angle that suggested that Giroud's shoulder of the ball, whatever, because it was such a quick little, ricochet or whatever.
I thought it was down up. I thought it definitely hit his shoulder.
Oh no, maybe it definitely hit his shoulder. But I mean, once it hit his shoulder, it wasn't obvious if it was going in, and they might give a red card if it's touched his hand and the ball's going in because it's a save. But that was what for me made it obvious that it had hit his hand because it was definitely going in the general direction of the goal, and it ended up well wide. So it must have hit something for it to divert further wide. But they seemed pretty confident on it. Like once he'd seen that angle of the, the zoomed in, they did the little circular zoom in thing, and it's like, well, that is his hand. And the commentators on our feed were saying that. They were saying, yeah, his hand is up. He's probably going to give this. And then it was given. And I don't remember many protests, but I could be wrong.
I think there was
even the commentators were just like, no Milan player asked for a penalty there.
No, it happened so quickly, though. That was the thing. And that's why I've got to give, providing it was the right call, I've got to give credit to VAR there for someone saying, wait, don't check the goal kick just yet because I want to see this. And then they spotted it and they gave it. And let's presume it was the right outcome. That has influenced the game. And it's finally gone in our favour for once. Tops and flops then, boys. I'm going to go with Olivier Giroud. And while I don't think that this was necessarily a dominant performance from him, I'm just at the point now, as I think we all are, where we've got to acknowledge that he is working massive overtime as a 36-year-old striker. Origi's in the pits. He's going back to Belgium for some treatment on his tendon issue that he's still not managed to get rid of. Ante Rebic has got a small hernia in his back, and anyone who's ever had a hernia knows that is hell, and it needs to be treated very, very cautiously. And then obviously you've got Ibrahimovic, who is not going to be back until 2023. So you've got Giroud starting pretty much every single game out of necessity, playing quite a few 90 minutes as well. And yet his work rate is still always at that level, putting himself about. He's, as I've said many times, he's never going to be the kind of forward who touches the ball 100 times a game. He's going to be the guy who tries to be in the right place at the right time. And I thought it was a good it was like a sacrificial shift that he put in, and ultimately, I suppose he won the penalty and he scored the goal that won us the game. So I'll go with Origi.
Yeah, I mean this is an interesting game because last week we were talking about how like anyone could be top and you really didn't know who's going to be flop. Well, this time around I think it's the exact opposite. You know, anyone could be the flop, and you really don't have anyone that sticks out too much as the top. I guess Giroud makes sense because winning the penalty and scoring it. But he also was the reason CDK's goal got called offside, which is a very minor thing because I don't think that was fair anyways. But yeah, I guess Giroud. I'll give it to Giroud.
I don't even know. I'll say Giroud as well. This game is all blur. So
yeah, we had a lot going on during that game.
I mean, I think this is the most like active I've been on Twitter during a game in ages, just to ask, like, did anybody else understand that? Like, what happened there? What did they call that goal off for? What was the first yellow card for on Leao again? And yeah, it was mad. There was a lot of baffling stuff. I suppose some other honourable mentions. Simon Kjær had not played. Simon Kjær last played on that ground back in December of 2021, and that's when he did his ligaments in his knee in that win over Genoa. So he came back. It was his second league start of the season. I actually thought, and it probably helps when it switched to a three-man defence, but I actually thought he looked pretty good. He's got the leadership thing back. I noticed him barking orders quite a lot, and I think that him and Calabria, I think he notices sometimes when Calabria's not in position, let's put it that way. And he certainly says some things, and probably it could be said back to him as well. But I do like Kjær out there as a leader because he is very vocal. And maybe there is a future there as a three-man defence with him in the middle and two more athletic types either side, because he is still good at the things that Kalulu and Tomori can't do. And I thought Tonali was pretty good as well. Particularly in the game management phase, you know, when we had to try and slow things down and look after the ball and frustrate Sampdoria as much as we could. But yeah, generally speaking, when you go down to 10 men with 45 minutes left, it's tough. You're not going to see much of the ball. Yeah, and it's a bit of a slog. Flop of the match. I mean, it would be harsh to give it to Leao when we've argued that the first yellow card probably wasn't a yellow card.
He was on a yellow. He shouldn't have done a dangerous play.
Yeah. I was going to pick Leao.
Yeah.
Just given the weight of that red card, knowing how important the Napoli game is, knowing how important he is, knowing that he already was on a yellow, dubious or not, like, I don't know. Knowing that Pioli came out and said that he told Leao at halftime, stay calm, do not touch anyone, do not get a yellow, and then he got a yellow in the 47th minute. Look, we could argue fairness all day long, but the reality is it happened. So it's gotta be him.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and as was kind of touched on earlier, on a positive note, Pobega did look better. That was his best involvement in a Milan start. Also, Tomori, good off the bench, and Benacer added a bit of energy that we really needed. So overall, I suppose it wasn't too bad. You know, you're going to get those freakish games where you just need to win somehow, and we managed to do it. So that's all good. Let's move on then, boys. Champions League time. So we are back in Champions League action this midweek. Wednesday, we're the early slot, which I believe is half 6, Central European time. So work that out based on where you are. We've got the current Group E table toppers, Dinamo Zagreb at San Siro. We're coming off the back of a 1-1 draw against Red Bull Salzburg in Austria. But I think it'd be fair to say that might be the shock of the round happened in Croatia last week with Zagreb beating Chelsea 1-0. And that got Tommy Tuchel the sack. So maybe wasn't what we were expecting coming into this game. I think probably if you did the old, football manager simulation of the two games last week, you'd have expected us and Chelsea to be top on 3 points. But in actual fact, here we are with two results that have probably thrown the group a bit more open than we thought it might well be. But Milan really do have a chance to go top of the group here. If we take care of business against Dinamo Zagreb, and they are in rampant form, which I'll come on to, then we would go on to 4 points, and you've got to presume that Chelsea gets something against Salzburg. Even still, depending on goal difference and stuff, we've got a chance to go top going into those two games against Chelsea, which will obviously be massive in terms of who goes through in the group stages. So Dinamo Zagreb are having a fantastic start to the season. As mentioned, they beat Chelsea 1-0, and basically, got Tuchel sacked. It was Mislava Orsic who got the goal on 13 minutes for them. And I did actually watch this game because it was the early kickoff. And I was really impressed with how well they defended as a unit. They shirked no tackles. They made things really difficult for Chelsea. Chelsea still had plenty of chances, and I think Tuchel will feel a bit annoyed if that was the game that got him the axe. The shooting boots weren't there, and on another night it could have been a different result. But Zagreb are top of the Croatian league. They've won 8 of their 9 games, with the other being a draw. Scored 28, let in 10, and they're 10 points ahead of second place. So that league's pretty much over already. So they can throw everything into this, and it's pretty much a cannot lose for them. Obviously, they can lose the game, but after that win against Chelsea, it's a free hit for them. Does that scare you at all?
Not really. I think Chelsea haven't been good this season, and in the Premier League as well. I just think they've struggled, and that's obviously why this all culminated in Tuchel getting sacked. This wasn't a one loss, their first loss, and they just lost their cool. That's not how that works. They've been a pretty poor side this season, and in preseason they were really bad too. So going into this, while I am shocked at the result, I'm not like blown away by it, and I don't think it's anything we need to worry about is how they beat a new Chelsea that had 12, 13 new players come in, 7 of them being starters, whatever it may be. I think they play a 3 at the back system. They do very well with it. They play a 2-striker system. One of them got the goal, the other got the assist. So they link up well. I mean, as you said, they're 10 points clear at the top of their own table. Obviously, Croatian teams, no disrespect to them, they're not on the same level. But that does tell you something about this Zagreb side. So
who are you going to give credit to for all that tactical information? Because I know you didn't just look that up about playing out of the back. Dang, look at you.
Look at me doing my job. Doing my job on the fly. But hey, that's how it works. But I think we're still going to win. I think we are hungry for the 3 points. We were hungry against whoever the fuck we just drew to. And we're going to be
Salzburg.
Yeah, there goes all that research. Going to be hungry again here. We want those wins. We got one last campaign. We want them this time. We definitely have almost a clear shot through to the round of 16. I think it would not be a disaster if we fail to reach that, but it would be a failure. In fact, I would say at this point, a success would be getting to the quarterfinals, given how easy this group is on paper. We should be in the round of 16. So we just got to go out there and get a win. And that's it.
I agree with some of the stuff that Anthony just said, but last week he said easy work about Salzburg. This week he's pretty much saying we're going to go out and get the job done against Dynamo Zagreb. It is Champions League. You can never say it's going to be easy work, and I think we learned that last year. We had a much harder group last year, but this is a team that has been in Champions League for, I don't know, the better part, maybe not Champions League, but in European competition for the better part of the past couple of years.
Like decade, yeah.
Yeah, and so
because they always win that league.
Yeah, they know how to handle the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these players on our team, even though they are the champions of Italy, don't know how to handle Champions League night pressure. Those butterflies that you get, and that has a lot to do with who wins or loses a game.
Definitely.
So does skill, but we are going to win this one. It won't be easy. It won't be quick work, but we'll get all 3 points.
75,000 should be there at San Siro, and they're going to have 4,300 away fans as well. So one of the few games that we get to play at home where there's not actually a decent away support. So that should be interesting. There is a little bit of a worry about that, the pressure, because I think most fans will go to the stadium expecting us to win. What if things don't start our way? What if they shock us with an early goal? Or what if we look slow and not cohesive in an attacking sense like we have done? But yeah, I do feel okay about this one. they have got some good players. That Orsic who scored the winner against Chelsea has 5 goals this season. That Josip Dermic has played a fair bit in the Bundesliga as well. I think he's got 3 goals. But generally speaking, like if we stop them scoring, which isn't too much to ask, then we should win because we should find a way to score. I realise I've broken that down into very, very basic. That's how
That's all there is,
works.
though.
That's how football works. But I'm just trying to think about it because this is a high pressure game. Like if we don't win this game, it doesn't look good for qualifying anymore, really.
No.
We've got to hope to take at least 7 points at home, and this is one of them that has to be a win.
I think that we need 9 points from home, and I think we can get all 9 points. But again, I'm sorry for interrupting your rant.
No.
If we can't beat Dynamo at home, I'm continuing to interrupt you. Then, see, now I just lost my train of thought. It's better to start with a team like Dynamo at home than Chelsea, I think. So we got to get the momentum.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wish our first game was at home, but I'm happy with this one being.
But we didn't lose the first game. Last year we lost the first one. We got a point. A point away from home is good. It's not the best option, obviously, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And also, we weren't anywhere near our best, really, against Salzburg. So that makes you think if we've got other gears to go into, then we'll be fine against even stronger opponents. What would you do with the starting 11 for this one? Is it a case of you just field probably the strongest team that we can at the moment? Are you bringing Dest in? Let me tell you what Gazzetta dello Sport think is going to happen.
Well, you tell me before you tell me their garbage. I think we field our absolute strongest team possible because after the Napoli game, we go on international break. So why not? Go ahead.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah, we do.
I can't wait for a break. Maignan, Dest, Kalulu, Tomori, Teo. So they think Dest is going to start over Calabria. Interesting one
Calabria
because
needs a break, man.
Yeah. And Dest also has Champions League experience, so it doesn't feel as big a gulf, I guess we'll see if that happens. Benacer, Tonali in the double pivot, Salamakers on the wide right, Leao on the left because obviously banned for the Napoli game, and they think Brahim Diaz behind Olivier Giroud. Can't say I'd be chuffed with that. I think I'd still rather see CDK get more minutes in the Champions League, but also, it depends on where he's at in terms of condition, because he's still adapting. He's only 21. But yeah,
I'm actually fine with it. I don't think it's too bad. I mean, I think CDK for Brahim is the obvious upgrade there, but it's really not that big of an issue for this specific game. And knowing Napoli's on the weekend, knowing that CDK's played quite a bit lately, I mean, it makes sense, I suppose. And I do think Dest is a good move, actually, for this game.
Same.
Salamakers, I'm not mad about, given he scored our only Champions League goal so far this season. So, give it to him.
Dest will be really eager to impress as well. I was just covering something before we jumped on here. It was from The Athletic. It's a very interesting read, basically about how at the start of pre-season, Dest had been told by Barcelona and everybody there that he was absolutely part of their plans and that they were planning on renewing his contract. And then when they got back from the pre-season tour to America, they made it clear that they were going to sell him if they got the right offer. They're in talk. He was in talks to go back to Man United, and they said no. Their football director said no to it, even though Ten Hag wanted him. Dortmund came in, Villarreal came in, but nothing could get done. And then we came in and he jumped at the chance because he wanted a fresh start. He wanted to be somewhere where he felt appreciated. So
I wonder what changed.
I'm now starting to think, Barca needed money, I guess.
That's what it is. They were selling everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting, really, the way that they've treated players. To be brutally honest, it's a disgrace. And I really hope that it does bite them on the arse down the line. But it's good to know that Dest is here hungry. And actually, it's not just a simple, it's going to be a year and then he goes back. Maybe we can negotiate that option down if he's burnt his bridges with Barcelona. And he also wants to absolutely make sure that he's starting for the World Cup in Qatar. So there's plenty of motivation for him.
The World Cup comes before that negotiation even begins.
I mean he plays.
Oh, okay.
Then. Yeah, like Champions League night to be your first start for the club. At San Siro in front of 70,000, that'd be as good
Yeah,
motivation.
I mean,
as
Dest
any.
is in a good position for the World Cup because there's really not another American right back that's gonna get the call up. But obviously, if Dest could do something to like say win that spot off Calabria somehow, that's a good sign for the USA and for him as a player.
What
So
about that
he's gonna want
Claudio
to.
Reyna guy? Isn't he
Yeah,
a
what
right back?
about him?
Is he not good?
What? Claudio Reyna?
Yeah.
Is his name Claudio? That's his dad. Giovanni?
Giorena's not a fullback.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
who's
don't know.
Claudio Reyna?
I don't know.
I just thought
I
he was
know.
a right back.
I can't even think of another American.
DeAndre Yedlin?
Yedlin is the other one, and he's not too hot anymore. He's quick. That's about it.
Again, experience though.
Claudio Reyna retired in like 2008. I just remember him
Yeah.
at Man City. That's crazy.
I
Anyway,
thought that was a goalkeeper. No, that's Claudio Bravo and Pepe Reina. I was mixed together. Never mind.
Claudio
podcast's a
Reyna
joke.
is Giovanni Reyna's father.
There we go.
Never-
Predictions then for Dinamo Zagreb. 2-0.
Yeah, I
That's
think
it,
2-0.
just 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. That works.
1-0.
Decent.
And it's gonna come in the last 25 minutes.
Ooh,
Hope not.
tense.
All right. Napoli time?
And then after the Champions League group stage game against Dinamo Zagreb, I think we'll all agree the biggest league game of the season so far. Napoli come to San Siro. The two teams that are the early pace setters were joint top of the table, along with Atalanta. And God, I mean, I guess the main headline heading into this one is that both teams are without arguably their best player. Osimhen is out for Napoli, and we are without Rafael Leao. They've got what they call him, Kvaradona.
Yeah.
He's had a pretty good start, it would be fair to say. He looks a hell of a player. He's definitely contributing more than Insigne managed to do last season. But yeah, this is massive. This is a showcase game. This is what the league is all about. It should be a fantastic spectacle. It'll be played on Sunday night in front of a sold out San Siro. I think it's also tough for both sides though, because even though there is the international break that comes after this, which means that you can maybe throw a bit more into it from a resources point of view, like both teams will be coming off quite demanding Champions League games, and it's like ideally you want this to be played at a time where everyone can give it everything. But it should be interesting because Spalletti against Pioli, they're always interesting tactical battles. And the lineup that I think most sources have for this suggests that because Leao is not available, there's the potential of switching either Salamakers or playing Krunic on the left, as has happened before, or even playing Brahim Diaz there. Those with good memories might remember that towards the back end of the 2020-21 season, Pioli started playing Brahim on the left and Çalhanoğlu was the number 10. And that was when we obviously beat Juve away. And he started there in that Atalanta game as well that sealed.
Did we lose him?
I don't know.
I think we lost him. So I'll just start talking until he comes. Oh, he's back.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, go.
Yep, you're good.
Thank God Anthony didn't have to talk.
Yeah, you can continue what you're saying. You cut out.
I personally speaking, I'm not against the idea of playing Brahim Diaz on the left wing for this one. I know people might think, what the hell? But I've said for so long that I think we might be able to get something out of him if we play him out wide. You know, I do think that if you can get him in isolation, that's probably where his biggest strengths lie. I like that idea more, to be honest, than playing Salamakers on the left wing. I think that only worked sporadically. Krunic is obviously an option. I don't know how serious it is given.
Well, we lost Ollie again. Okay, he's having internet issues, but yes, Krunic is an option. He's just getting back from injury right now. I don't think it's the worst idea. I think Krunic always does a good job for us, but Brahim does make sense, and it is something that, like Ollie was saying earlier, that he's been calling for a while, and I think he's always back. But I'm just gonna go on my rant now.
Carry on.
It's that all said, I think it's gonna be Salamakers and Macias as both wingers. And that's okay. You know, I'm not even mad at that. Look, I have us pegged to lose this game. I'll be honest. I do think one thing going into our favor is our Champions League game is early and at home. Theirs is away and late. So we have like a few extra hours of rest than they do, which I mean ultimately means nothing. But
Right.
I also don't think Napoli's played anyone yet outside of Liverpool, which was a thrashing by all means. However, they are a very confidence-based side. They start hot. I mean, this is the last 3 seasons in a row have been Milan Napoli at the top 2 until Christmas, and then Inter starts to creep up, and once Napoli slip up once, they slip up 5, 6, 7 times. And I think that it's no different this time. Once they're very lucky to have a simple strength of schedule in the beginning because they stack up these wins against these scrub teams, and then all the new players get the confidence that Spalletti's given them. All the existing players get the confidence. They're high on it. This is our year. You see it on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And then they face someone, and they go into this Liverpool game full on confidence. Liverpool is a team who knows how good they are and don't respect anyone else because they're just kind of shitty players and people. So they wouldn't do it thinking this was light work, and it was not light work. They got destroyed. And now Napoli's going to go in it with more confidence against us, which is bad news. But as soon as Napoli stumble, they're going to tumble as well. So that's my alliteration for the day.
I think that we are going to win. I think that both teams, this is their first like big challenge, at least for us. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, the Derby.
Yeah, okay.
Atalanta
And we
away.
played fantastic in the Derby.
We did. We always show up more for the harder games. I'm just worried about the Leao absence. I think that's a little rough.
I would rather have Diaz on the wing, CDK in the middle, and Macias on the right than Macias and Salamakers. That sounds fucking horrible.
Yeah. Fair.
But what are you going to do? I do think that we are going to win this one, though.
My main concern is just Cavra going up against Calabria. That's what scares me.
Dude, maybe Dest has like a fucking lights out performance on Wednesday and benches Calabria for the rest of the season.
I don't think that'll happen, but what a world, right?
Imagine that. Captain benched.
Second year in a row.
Yeah, I know.
By a loaned player.
I've seen that on Twitter. I've seen that on Twitter. Calabria was fuming when he got subbed off because he realizes he's getting the Romagnoli treatment. It's like, come on, it's not that bad yet.
Well, he's only captain because he's got the highest tenure here. I mean,
he's also not that bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's
all right.
Like doesn't have captain material. I'm just saying the way Milan picks captains is whoever's got the most caps for the club at the time.
It's not his fault that our right side absolutely is abysmal and he's the only bit of quality there.
I do wonder if he'd look better if we had a better right winger.
He would.
Because
except the wild part is our right side is abysmal and our left side doesn't pass the ball.
Well, the crazy thing to me is our right side is so bad, but Salamakers and Macias have scored in our last 2 games. But they are the weakest links on this team.
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, they have. Couple of things as well. Napoli drew 1-1 at home against Lecce, and they only beat Spezia 1-0 with a very late goal from Raspadori at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So for all their impressive performances where they've blown away Liverpool, they've struggled in certain games, where teams actually defend well against them and make it difficult. So maybe that might play in our favour. I think this game will be won and lost in the midfield, to be honest, because I look at their 3 players. They've got Elmas, who, I think me and AJ both really like him, and Ndombele and Anguissa. And Anguissa was man of the match potential against Liverpool. Like, he was very, very good. But him and Ndombele, if those two aren't on it, then we could find things pretty damn straightforward. But if they are on it, then things are going to be difficult with the 4-3-3 that Spalletti tends to play. I don't feel confident or unconfident about this one. I think based on how the games went last season, it was strange because I expected us to beat them at home and then we lost 1-0 and we were crap. But Kessie had that disallowed goal and it shouldn't have been. That should have been a draw. And then we went 1-0, went and won 1-0 away from home with that Giroud goal when I expected us to get beat. So I don't know. I find this a very, very tough to predict fixture.
That was also the first time that Pioli had beaten Spalletti Spalletti had beaten him in every single matchup prior, and there's quite a few of them. So that leads me to believe that he might get the better of Pioli again this time. But Pioli's also grown light years in the last 3 seasons.
He has.
Really has, yeah. Yeah. He's become, for me, the best coach in the league, and it's not disputable anymore. And we probably wouldn't have said that 18 months ago. Obviously, the Scudetto win helps, but we've all seen how he's putting different tactical ideas out there just to keep us unpredictable, and it always seems to work. I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to hedge my bets on this. But yeah,
I'm going to go 2-1 Napoli. I think Havre's going to get the best of Calabria. And
you say that, but you forget that we have Mike in net.
I mean,
and also potentially Kalulu.
Still conceded in a lot. Did we lose him again? His internet is bad. Sorry to everyone listening. His internet's having a rough time today. There he
keeps like rebooting. What I wouldn't do, as one of the papers is suggesting, is play Kier and Calabria against Napoli. You need someone with pace and athleticism, so it's got to be Tomori or Kalulu. Sorry. If Calabria gets beat, at least there's somebody who can match him.
Yeah. And I think Kalulu is going to be eager to give his best performances now that Kier is healthy, and he did have 2 good games. Now both Tomori and Kalulu got to like raise it up a level so that they're not getting benched for him, you know?
Right, let's do some questions, shall we? See you. Right. Numero uno. I don't understand this one. I'm going to read this out, but I don't. Question for Ollie, so this is aimed at me. Is the Magic Mike Peach Cobbler jersey only exclusively for him, or is Puma dropping the ball not putting that jersey up for sale? I think Stefano's the one who's got it, right?
Yeah, a lot of people have bought it. It's absolutely
it's on sale. Yeah. Purple one.
Check the Milan site. Don't check the Puma website. Check the Milan site. It's there.
Yeah. It is a beauty as well, by the way.
It is fantastic.
In fact, that's the peach one, obviously, and the purple one. Both of those would have been great third kits and away kits. You know, just something a bit different. Christian Espinoza, do you think Leao will end up renewing with Milan for the figure that he wants? Has the potential to become the next legend, in my opinion.
If we can just do salary, yes, but if he wants us to pay his fee, then I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think that's a big decider.
We should be involved in that. I really don't think that we should be involved. But if it helps us if we sort of say, okay, we'll pay this part up front, but we'll sort of discount it from your salary moving forward, and that was a way, then maybe. But
maybe, yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous just because renewal talks started so long ago, and since they started, we've seen Cringe get a contract. Giroud just started another one. Tonali renewed. There's someone else renewed. We're seeing people getting renewals done really quickly, and his is dragging on. And obviously, he's the best player on the squad and wants the highest amount. I get that, so his is going to take a little longer. And he's got that Lille thing, but they're not the Portuguese team thing. But I don't know. I'm getting nervous. We've seen it multiple times. Every time a top player says, "Oh, it's no problem," and then there's any sort of adversity with the renewal, they've been leaving on a free Donnarumma Kessie. So I'm a little nervous. Admittedly nervous. I take an offer in the 9 figures if it comes through. I take it.
The thing that worries me is that we might not want to pay him 8 million a year, which is high, or 7 million. Someone will.
Every club in the Premier League will.
Yeah,
every single one.
And that worries me because he doesn't have the same loyalty to us that a Calabria or a Tonali does, where they renew with us at sort of any price and they see this is the end destination. There's nothing to say that Leao might not want to try a new adventure at some point.
Well, and that's the other thing too. He's won the Scudetto. He's won what you win in Italy. He's league MVP. I mean, he hasn't won a Super Cup or a Coppa Italia, but really he has conquered Italy as far as a player. So if he were to say, look, I want to try something new, I want to try to win the Champions League in Spain or in England or wherever, you can't really hold it against him.
It's a bit of a Kessie thing, isn't it? Obviously, it's slightly different because he left on a free, but like the way that Kessie left, everyone was like, you can go and try your new thing now.
He has a year and a half left, or 2 years. How long? 2.5 years.
2024. So
Yeah, 24. So year and a half.
two
So we could
seasons.
get. I would keep him next season, and if he just listen, he was league MVP last year, but to take us to the next level, he needs to do way more. And if we can get 150 mil for him, that's 2 wingers that could produce
A
more.
lot. Yeah.
Big money. That is big
than
money.
just one person.
Money
So
ball. Replace him in the aggregate.
yeah,
Oh yeah, what a scene that is. Another thing as well about Leao, it sounds like he wants to stay, but we've seen this before where it's like a player says, "I want to stay," and then they do it to sort of make themselves look like the good person when eventually they end up leaving. So I don't know if I believe all these reports that are saying
I
Leao
don't.
absolutely wants to stay.
It's happened with our 2 top players. Well, Hakan was not a top player. I guess at the time he kind of was, but
Oh, I just forgot about Hakan. I was thinking Kessie and Donnarumma.
Yeah. That's the 2 I was thinking of. I don't even know why I said Hakan though.
We got a couple of questions. One from Rocky Ward, Spirit Pirates, Boss 85 about Origi being a flop signing already. Can we call him that?
I mean, I'm gonna owe Madison money at the end of this season. I know that. I see it coming already.
Could have paid him while you were over there.
We did actually give each other the same amount of money back and forth. I paid him for some food, and then he paid me for pay-per-view or something, and it was the same amount. So it was just
useless transaction, really.
Sure was. We just paid fees.
Yeah. God, I mean, I hope that going to this national team doctor or whatever, he comes back a new man and he's finally got rid of it and he can properly get into scoring goals for us. But until he scores that first goal for us, then he's not done anything to justify the faith that we've put in him.
He's actually missed 2 really great opportunities.
Yeah. And the performances that we have seen from him so far, the cameos off the bench haven't exactly been great. He's been quite selfish and wasteful. So, he's got a lot to do to prove. We also got a question about who we'd like to come in as a striker reinforcement. There was a report from Calcio Mercato, so depends on where you rank them as a source, but basically summer 2023 will be when we make the big investment in a centre forward because Giroud will be 37, Ibra will probably have retired, Origi can't give us physical guarantees, neither can Rebic, so we'll have to spend money on a striker. They put Jonathan David forward. He's got 4 goals already this season.
Is he doing good this season again? Yeah. I know last season he flopped. He lost his form.
He got 15.
It's really hard to say this striker's good, let's get him.
Yeah, at this point it is,
but also just because a striker's good in France doesn't mean he's going to come in and be good in Italy.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
So,
I mean, look at Timo Werner. At Chelsea thought they were getting the deal of the century there.
So did I. I thought that was a great move.
You just couldn't adapt, I don't know any names to throw out there. I don't mind Jonathan David as a mould. I know that we've definitely scouted him extensively in the past, and he's only 22, so he kind of fits into what we're going with. But in terms of someone who's going to come and provide absolute guaranteed goals, it becomes quite difficult to think of one without spending 70 million like the Vlahovic money.
I think that's where we're going to have to head. That might be the main focus. Like CDK was our only deal this window.
We could maybe poach Vlahovic.
I mean, yeah, but I don't.
If they don't qualify,
if they don't get
champions, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The other one I was thinking was, I don't know if he's doing good this season, but Nkuku.
Yeah, that release clause.
I know we were linked with him. I know we were linked with him last season, so I'm pulling him up now to see what's good.
Oh yeah, he's banging him in.
He's got 4 goals in 6 matches. Yeah,
I see his name all the time.
Market value 82 mil though. That's loan with option at 25. Take it or leave it.
I just hope that we don't go for another stopgap because it was obvious what we were trying to do with Origi. We're delaying that investment because we needed to spend money in other areas. But we're not going to get away with that next summer. Don't go and... I don't know, don't go and get Aubameyang back or something and think it'll be fine, he'll score us a few goals. Like, actually get the number 9 for the future who will start most games, so we don't have this same wheeling Giroud out.
Give Leao someone that he could partner with and, help that Leao deal
If
get done
he's here.
too. I think if you say, like, look, we need a striker for the future, who is someone you think you would play well with? Like, who's on your radar? And see if we could work that, if it's realistic. Maybe he's got terrible taste, but if he's got a good name.
I've got a rogue shout here.
Okay.
I like him. He had an injury, but I do like him as a player. Yeah, fantastic player. No, Raul Jimenez, Portugal international teammate of Leao.
Yeah.
And he scored goals in the Prem. He looks pretty good. And he's mobile number 9. And if you say, Leao, we're bringing you, mate, I don't know. Just a random name.
We could have had Darwin Núñez. I mean, we couldn't afford what he ended up going to Liverpool for, but
yeah,
and he
flop.
kind of has
always said he'd be a flop. No, he'll be all right. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one though to follow because we're going to be linked with a lot of names.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who Leeds is interested in. They seem to
be. Honestly, they go for bangers, dude.
Yeah, they seem to be recruiting some good players.
I mean, that's whose strategy was that? Was that Leipzig's strategy? Wait for us to list a target and then go for him?
Yeah, pretty much.
So just copy them. Just copy Leeds.
Just do the same again. Yeah. There was rumors came up again about Noah Lang potentially coming in January.
Okay. Well, in January,
which would be a madness. I wonder about Rebic. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't think Rebic is with us beyond the start of next season. So then, if you need someone who can play sort of similar role, then maybe you look into Lang again. But yeah, interesting times. That's it, I think, boys. Thank you if you made it this far. Been a pleasure as always to talk through the latest stuff. We'll be back. When will we be back? We'll be back on Monday, won't we?
I believe so.
Yeah. So 1 week today.
When's the next Champions League game? After this,
we've got a while because
we got
of the break.
International
so
break.
Yeah, we'll be back next Monday to recap the 2 games. And yeah, then we've got a little bit of an international break, but we'll do something for that episode as well, no doubt. I've been your host, Ollie Fisher. You can find me on Twitter at Ollie Fisher. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're on the YouTube. Give us a rating if you're listening on another podcast platform. That'd be massively appreciative. Check out our store and also give us a like on Instagram. That'd be great because we're trying to grow that a little bit. And check out Ahmed Bader's new videos that'll be coming out, game reactions and stuff as well. Those should be enjoyable as the weeks go on. AJ, cheers for joining.
Yep, it's over 45 right there. Bloop. I gotta go unpack.
Edward __ Toth.
Yep, thank you for watching, everybody. We'll catch you in a week's time.
Eccolo Ante in area di rigore, Ante, Ibra, gol! Vediamo se è buono, ce lo dà buono, ce lo dà buono, ce lo